I pull up to my parents' house in Eugene, 15 minutes early. I always do this, ever since I was old enough to drive myself. It's mostly for Mom. She thinks being on time means arriving early enough for her to get a few comments in before the main event. The front door is unlocked, which is classic Margot Vance. She'd never risk a guest ringing the doorbell and disrupting her last-minute preparations. "Alara? Is that you?" 65 Mercedes. Mom calls from the dining room, her voice floating out with that usual expectant note. Not exactly warm, not really icy either. Just hanging there, waiting to see if I'll mess something up. "Yeah, it's me," I answer, tugging at the collar of my blue blouse, the one I picked specifically so she wouldn't say anything about my weight. I follow her voice into the dining room. Everything sparkles. Sunlight hits the crystal glasses on the table, and the silverware lines up so perfectly you'd swear she used a ruler. Mom's standing over it all, fussing with a fork that looks perfectly placed to me. "You're early," she says without looking up. She nudges the fork a hair to the left. "Sloan and Asher aren't here yet." I tell her I thought she might want some help. She finally glances up, her eyes scanning me from head to toe, her usual once-over. My chest tightens when her gaze lands on my stomach. "You could have worn that green blouse I got you for Christmas," she says. "It's more slimming." Dad Colin, though everyone calls him Col, wanders in from his study, eyes glued to his phone. "Is that Alara?" He barely looks up, gives me a distracted smile. "Hey, kiddo." Before I can answer, the front door bursts open. "We're here." Sloane's voice sings through the house, heels clacking across the floor. She floats into the room in a cream-colored dress, looking annoyingly perfect. Asher's right behind her, tall and movie star handsome in that way finance bros always seem to be. Mom drops her fork and rushes to hug Sloane. "Oh, darling, let me see you." I step back and watch the show. Sloane twirls and laughs. Asher hangs by the doorway, looking a bit awkward, but he catches my eye and smiles, a little apologetic. "Asher, you look so handsome," Mom gushes, finally noticing him. "Come, sit down, everyone. Lunch is almost ready." We gather around the table. Dad finally puts his phone away while Mom brings out a roasted chicken that looks like it could be on the cover of a magazine. Sloane talks about her marketing job, Asher's family, their new apartment in Portland. I chime in when someone asks me a direct question. Smile when I'm supposed to. Halfway through lunch, Sloane sets her fork down with this dramatic little flourish. "Actually, we have an announcement." Mom freezes, eyes wide. "Asher and I," Sloane lifts her hand, and there it is, a diamond ring throwing light all over the room. "We're engaged." The dining room explodes. Mom actually squeals, never heard that sound from her before. Dad looks up and, for once, seems genuinely happy. "Well, I'll be damned. Congratulations." Asher starts telling the story of how he proposed in Seattle. Mom's got a million questions. When's the wedding? Where's the venue? What's the dress going to look like? I raise my wine glass. "Congratulations. I'm so happy for you both." Sloane nods quickly and turns back to Mom. I take a sip, watching them over the rim of my glass. For years in Seattle, and nothing's changed. I'm still orbiting around Planet Sloane. "September wedding," Sloane announces. 4 months to plan everything. "That's soon," I say. "When it's right, why wait?" She answers, fingers linked with Asher's. "We've already picked the wedding party. Asher's brother is best man, obviously. Anne." She turns to me, and I know that smile, seen it 100 times before something bad happens. "Alara, you'll be my bridesmaid." I feel a flicker of surprise and something like hope. "Really?" "I'd love," but Sloane's not done. She leans in, stage whispers loud enough for everyone to hear, "You need to lose at least 15 pounds. I don't want people saying the bride's sister is bigger than the wedding dress." The room goes dead silent. My face burns. I freeze, wine glass halfway to my lips. All eyes are on me. Mom nods, not missing a beat. "You should get started. 4 months is plenty of time to lose the weight and, who knows, maybe meet someone." I can't speak. Shame tightens my throat. Dad tries to say something now, I don't think, but Mom cuts him off with a glare, and he just retreats back to his phone. My mind flashes back to 14 years ago, standing in this very room, gripping an academic award certificate. Some things never change. Dad glances up from his phone, starts to congratulate me. Mom cuts in, that's great, but it'd be even better if you lost 15 pounds. Later, Sloane's voice keeps ringing in my head, my fat bookworm sister. My parents just laugh, say that's how sisters tease each other. That's what closeness looks like, apparently. Back in the moment, Asher shifts in his seat. Sloane flashes her smug grin. Mom beams at her like she just solved world hunger, and Dad buries himself in his phone again. I force a smile, ignore the sting in my eyes. I say, I'll think about it. Sloane doesn't let up. Don't just think about it, she says. You need to commit. This is my wedding. I take another sip of wine instead of answering. It tastes even more bitter now. Maybe it's time to decide what I want. The conversation drifts to something else, but I barely hear a word through dessert. When I finally drive away, the tears come fast, the kind that burn, turning Eugene's streets into a blur. For a second, I almost call Sloane to tell her I'm out as bridesmaid. But as I hit the highway, a different thought starts to form. I catch my reflection in the rearview mirror. Seattle waits for me. My job, my apartment, my own life, a life I built, no thanks to them. What if I actually changed, but on my terms? Not for them. For me. I wipe my face, press the gas. Later, I unlock my apartment, drop my bag just inside the door. The place feels even more like home now, neat lines, minimalist furniture, shelves packed with economics books and finance journals. My career awards line up on the shelf, quietly gleaming in the late light. Home, I whisper, and the silence feels safe after Eugene. I kick off my shoes, collapse on the couch, let out a breath I've been holding all weekend. 15 pounds. Sloane's demand echoes, sharp and mean. I grab my laptop and open the folder labeled Family Photos. Why do I keep these? Honestly, I don't know. The latest album is Christmas 4 years ago, the last time I visited before this mess. I scroll through the pictures, finger hovering over the trackpad. Suddenly, I notice something. Every single group photo, I'm standing behind Sloane. Sometimes it's subtle, me drifting back, her leaning forward. Sometimes I'm just straight up hidden behind her. What the hell? I mutter, clicking through more. It isn't just where I'm standing. I hear my mother's voice in my head. Elara, honey, stand back a bit. Sloane's dress needs to be seen. Elara, move to the side, you're blocking the light. Elara, let's have you behind your sister for this one. I shut the laptop and head to my bedroom. In the bottom desk drawer, there's an old leather-bound journal from high school, pages full of teenage frustration and family drama. I flip it open at random. May 12, 2015, Mom called me in to talk about my prom dress. She suggested I lose 10 pounds so it would hang better. I pointed out prom was 3 weeks away. She said I could do a liquid diet. Sloane walked in, wearing my sweater, Mom's favorite on Sloane, but last month she told me it made me look puffy. I skip ahead. September 30th, 2015, first month of college done, called home excited about acing my econ midterm. Mom asked if I'd lost the freshman 15 yet or gained it. I tried to change the subject, brought up the test again. Over and over, the pattern repeats, me chasing their approval, getting hit with another dig about my body, then pulling away. Every time, I'd convince myself things would be different. They never were. It wasn't normal, I say out loud, the words heavy in my chest. It was toxic. I can't sit still. My family isn't just a little insensitive. It's deliberate. The comments about my weight aren't just offhand, they're weapons. Margot Vance, my mother, perfect image curator, treats us like dolls. Beautiful Sloane, who learned early that she shines brighter if I'm kept in the dark. And Dad, buried in his phone and his business, never stepping in. Then there's me, the designated disappointment. The shadow that makes Sloane's light possible. For months until the wedding. For months to lose 15 pounds, or face another round of public humiliation. For months that could wreck my health if I do what they want. I stand in front of my bathroom mirror, really looking this time, not through my mother's harsh filter or Sloane's calculating gaze. Just my own. The woman in the mirror isn't the failure my family keeps seeing. She's built a life for herself, a career, a home. She's smart, she's accomplished. She deserves more than crash diets or love that comes with strings attached. I flip open my laptop and start digging. Not for the latest fad or some sketchy weight loss pill, but for real, solid info about healthy, sustainable habits. I want advice from nutritionists, not some influencer with a promo code. I want actual science, not someone's miracle story. 3 hours later, I pull myself out of the research rabbit hole, suddenly clear-headed. This isn't about a wedding, I say to my reflection. This is about me. The next morning, I make 2 calls. First, to a doctor for a full checkup. Then to Maya Santos, the personal trainer whose business card has been stuck to my fridge for months. I tell her I want to start training, not just for weight loss. Yeah, that's part of it, but really, I want to be stronger, healthier, and more confident. Maya sounds genuinely pleased. When do you want to start? She asks. Yesterday, I say, not missing a beat. That afternoon, I make a vision board. No skinny models, no sample-size dresses. Just images of strength, health, and independence. I add quotes about power and self-respect. There's not one mention of the wedding anywhere. At the bank, I open a new savings account, label it health investment, and move some money over. This isn't about a bridesmaid dress. It's about taking back my life. My phone buzzes. Sloan again. Mom found the perfect bridesmaid dress, size 10, TikTok. I silence it and reach for a notebook. On the first page, I write transformation journal and today's date. This journey's just for me. No one else gets a say. Over the next few weeks, things start falling into place. Mornings with Maya, learning to respect what my body can do instead of tearing it down. Lunches with coworkers who notice I'm more energetic. Evenings spent researching nutrition or hanging out in online groups full of people chasing actual health, not just smaller genes. Your form's improving, Maya tells me after our 12th session. You've added 8 pounds to your lift since we started. I grin. It feels good. I'm surprised how much I mean it. By the end of the month, I've lost 4 pounds, no starving, just steady, real changes. My clothes fit different. I sleep better. The woman in the mirror looks determined for once. That night, my mom calls. Alara? Have you started the diet yet? How much have you lost? Her voice is sharp, impatient. I've put a deposit down on a bridesmaid dress. Size 8. Don't disappoint me. I look at my journal, at my vision board with its total lack of wedding dresses. I'm working on it, Mom, I say, steadier than she deserves. You need to hurry, she snaps. I just put a deposit on a smaller bridesmaid dress for you. Don't disappoint me. When she hangs up, I jot her words in my journal. Evidence of a lifetime of love with conditions. More fuel for the journey. I won't let myself down. Not this time. 2 months in, the scale won't budge. Same number, 10 mornings in a row. I've lost 8 pounds. Not 9. Not 10. Definitely not the 15 Sloan demanded. Classic plateau. My phone buzzes. Mom. Again. 3rd call this week and it's only Wednesday. I let it go to voicemail. I already know what she's going to say, a progress report dressed up as motherly concern. 10 minutes later, the voicemail notification pops up. I hit play and set my phone on the bathroom counter while I brush my teeth. Alara. It's your mother. Like I wouldn't know that voice anywhere. I need to know how the weight loss is progressing. Sloan and I found the most exquisite bridesmaid dresses yesterday, but they run small. Very small. Call me back with your current measurements. I spit toothpaste into the sink, a little harder than necessary, watching the splatter. The message keeps going. Your sister sent some photos. I'm forwarding them now. My phone pings with images. I swipe through them, satin nightmares, all cinched waists and bare shoulders, made for women half my size. Perfect for Sloan's skinny friends. For me? Total humiliation, by design. Another text, this one from Sloan. Mom showed you the dresses? Remember, only 2 months left. Hashtag motivation. Hashtag sisterly love. I set my phone down before I throw it across the room. Sloan's a pro at passive-aggressive hashtags. And then, as if that wasn't enough, the final blow shows up in the afternoon mail. There's a countdown calendar taped to the fridge, my mom's handwriting looping elegantly across the top. Ilara's deadline, she wrote, and underlined it in angry red. 2 months left until the wedding. I grab my car keys and head for the nearest fast food joint. Back at my apartment, I lay out my little act of rebellion across the coffee table. A giant pizza, fries, a chocolate shake. The whole place smells like grease and sugar. Honestly, it's a giant screw you to months of protein shakes and tiny, measured meals. I lift a slice halfway to my mouth, but then I catch sight of my running shoes by the door. Blue and gray Nikes, scuffed now, the laces dulled and dirty. 8 pounds down. That has to count for something. I set the pizza back in the box and just stare. At the food, at the shoes. Then it hits me, I'm not doing this for them. I say it out loud, to my empty living room, and it feels like something breaking free inside me. I'm doing this for me. Into the trash goes the pizza, slice after untouched slice. The fries too. I pour the shake down the drain and watch it swirl away. 10 minutes later, I'm running through the local park. Not the gym this time, just open air and the smell of cut grass. Each stride pulls me further away from Sloane's hashtags and my mom's deadlines. I run until my lungs ache, until sweat sticks my shirt to my back, until my brain goes quiet except for one word repeating, mine. This journey is mine. The next evening, my phone lights up, video call from Mom and Sloane. For a second, I think about ignoring them, but something inside me feels steadier now. I answer. Their faces fill the screen, Mom in her perfect living room, Sloane probably in her place in Portland. Finally, Mom says, no hello. She's already scanning the background. That wall color makes your apartment look even smaller. You really should have gone with eggshell, not that dreary gray. Thanks for the tip, I say, keeping my tone flat. Sloane leans into her camera. So? How much have you lost now? Mom says the dress shop needs final numbers in 10 days. I'm making progress, I say. Numbers, Ilara. Mom's voice sharpens. We need specifics. Step on your scale. We can see. The old me would have done it. Would have dragged my phone to the bathroom and let them watch as I weighed myself. Not this time. I shake my head. My transformation's private until the wedding. Silence. Mom's mouth opens, then closes. Sloane's eyebrows shoot up. That's not how this works, Mom says, finally. We need to know. You'll see at the wedding, I say. Not before. Sloane's cheeks flush. It's my wedding, Ilara. If you can't meet the requirements, then what? The words just hang there. I let them. You'll find another bridesmaid? Someone who fits your vibe better? Go ahead. More silence. I've never talked to them like this before, steady, direct, not apologizing. We're just concerned, Mom tries, switching gears. This is a health issue. No, it's a control issue, I say. And I'm taking back control. I'll see you both at the wedding. I hang up before they can answer. The next morning at the gym, Maya clocks the shift right away. She's spotting me on deadlifts. Something's different, she says, nudging my form. You're lifting with purpose today. I had a revelation last night, I tell her, catching my breath between reps. This whole weight loss thing, it was never about a dress. It's about finally feeling at home in my own skin. She grins, slow and wide. About time. Their expectations were weighing you down more than anything else. Later, my coworkers invite me to happy hour. 3rd invite this month. Before, I always said no, calories, macros, all that. This time, I say yes. We laugh over mocktails and swap family stories. My brother said I'd never make regional manager, says Julian from accounting, said I was too soft. Last Christmas, I handed him my new business card. We all crack up. I tell them about Sloane's bridesmaid ultimatum, and it's surprisingly easy to turn it into a joke instead of something shameful. Families, Nia says, raising her glass. Can't live with them, can't return them for store credit. 10 days later, I'm standing in my bathroom with electric clippers in hand. Brown hair falls into the sink as I buzz it short. Then I work in ash blonde dye. The woman in the mirror looks bold and unapologetic. Mine. The new wardrobe follows. Clothes that fit my stronger body, not ones that hide it. Dark jeans that show off muscle, fitted blazers that highlight my shoulders. The scale? It's an afterthought now. I step on it sometimes, just to check, but the numbers don't carry the same weight. When I hit 15 pounds lost, all I feel is a quiet, satisfied nod, and then I get on with my day. 3 weeks later, I pull off a real win. I deadlift my body weight for the first time. Maya's watching me, grinning. You realize you've gone further than they ever asked? She says. I've dropped 20 pounds, but honestly, that's not the point. I catch a glimpse of myself in the gym mirror and laugh a little. It's not just the weight I'm carrying differently, it's everything else, too. The expectations, the pressure, all of it. They don't crush me anymore. Out of nowhere, tears hit me. I've been dragging their hopes around a lot longer than these pounds. Maya squeezes my shoulder, hands me a towel. Keep those tears. You've earned them. That night, I make a folder on my laptop and call it evidence. I toss in an old photo from months ago, me in my Seattle apartment, awkward, apologetic. Next to it, I add today's progress pic, shoulders back, chin up, eyes steady. Sure, the physical change is obvious, but the way I stand now says more than numbers ever could. I drop in screenshots of Sloane's passive-aggressive texts, transcripts of Mom's voicemails, and old journal entries, years of weight comments, just for myself. Not revenge. Just to see the road from their vision to my own. 3 weeks before the wedding, the scale tells me what I already know, 25 pounds lost. My clothes fit different. My phone buzzes, Mom's weekly call. Family lunch in 1 week, she says, skipping any greeting. We need to see if you've made enough progress for the wedding party. I rake a hand through my hair, shorter now, styled the way Mom hates. I'll be there. Don't disappoint us, Alara. I keep my voice steady. I won't be disappointing anyone. Especially not myself. I hang up and catch my reflection in the window. The woman staring back at me barely looks like the one who got Sloane's ultimatum 4 months ago. I grin, whispering to the empty room, they have no idea who's coming to dinner. When that family dinner finally rolls around, my black heels hit the pavement with a sharper sound, confident, almost defiant. I pause at the edge of the driveway, breathe deep. 4 months of work for this. I check my reflection in the car window. Sunlight catches my ash blonde bob. My navy dress fits just right, shows off what's left and what's gone. 25 pounds down, but there's something heavier now, resolve. I time my entrance, 10 minutes late, on purpose. Everyone's already there, waiting. Couldn't ask for a better audience. My heart's pounding, but not from nerves. This is anticipation. Instead of barging in, I ring the doorbell. Just a small rebellion, but it sets the tone. Dad opens the door, phone in hand, eyes wide. Alara? He stammers, totally thrown. I smile, step right past him. Who else would it be, Dad? The dining room goes quiet as I walk in. Just like I pictured, Mom at the head, Sloane next to her, Asher across from my empty chair. Their faces change one by one, shock, disbelief, recalibrating. Wow, Alara, Asher says, giving me that up and down look. You look amazing. Sloane's smile goes tight. You look different. She squints, calculating. Did you get surgery? I slip my purse over my chair, take my time. Every move is intentional. I've played this scene out with Maya a dozen times. Finally, I look Sloane in the eye. No, I just tried loving myself. It feels great. Mom recovers fast, face sliding right back to disapproval. Your hair? She says, reaching for a strand. You should dye it back to brown. Sloane's always been the blonde daughter. I sense Asher's surprise. He glances between us, something dawning on him. Dad jumps in, I like it, and gives me a real smile. You look healthy, kiddo. Mom shoots him a look and he retreats into his phone. That little alliance, gone in a snap. Still, I thank him, try to keep it light. Sloane's knuckles go white on her water glass as Asher keeps glancing over. For the first time, I see it flat out jealousy, not even disguised as concern. Just envy. It sinks in, they don't know how to celebrate me. My transformation shakes something at the core of our family. I could have lost 100 pounds, solved world peace, cured cancer, Mom would still find fault. Sloane would always see a rival. I take a sip of water and hide my smile behind the glass. These days, criticism just makes me stronger. Not the effect they're going for, but here we are. Mom dishes out roasted chicken with the kind of precision you'd expect from a surgeon. The dress is too tight, she says. It emphasizes your problem areas. Sloane, never one to miss a shot, chimes in, your hair's going to clash with the bridesmaid dresses. We picked coral pink. That blonde is going to look ridiculous. I butter a roll and watch the two of them trade critiques, perfectly in sync. It's almost impressive, the way they build off each other. But the more they talk, the smaller they seem. Then Sloane just drops the pretense. You're trying to steal the spotlight, she snaps. This is my wedding year. Dad clears his throat, trying to play mediator. Now, Sloane, she cuts him off. She shows up looking like this 3 weeks before my final fittings? When all our relatives will be comparing us. That's not a coincidence. Mom nods along, dead serious. Ilara has always been competitive with you. Dad glances at them, then back to his phone. That's right, he mutters. Don't try to outshine the bride. It's the same old family lunch, just with a new target. Instead of nagging me about my weight, they jump on how I lost it. Instead of criticizing how I look, they find a new angle to attack my improvements. Asher sits there, looking more uncomfortable by the minute. His eyes flick to mine, apologizing without words. Two cousins who showed up late shift in their seats, wishing they were anywhere else. Aunt Diana stares at her plate like it'll save her. My phone buzzes in my purse. I sneak a look under the table. Maya's message lights up the screen. Remember, your worth isn't defined by their approval. 3 other friends have sent similar reminders. Right on cue. I straighten up, feeling the months of work settle around me like armor. Maya's mantra echoes in my head. Your value exists independent of their ability to see it. Sloane leans in, voice syrupy sweet. You know, I've always heard dramatic weight loss ages people. You look at least 35 now. Something inside me shifts, not anger, just clarity. I set my wine glass down, loud enough to pull everyone's focus. Mom, I say, meeting her eyes, calm as anything. My hair is my choice. Just like it's always been your choice to make Sloane the center of everything. I've learned to love myself. Maybe you should try it. Mom's mouth opens, but nothing comes out. I turn to Dad. I'm just living my life. If me getting better makes someone feel outshined, that's on them, not me. He looks away, but I catch a flicker of something recognition, maybe even pride, before he buries it. Finally, I look at Sloane. You're right, I lost 25 pounds. And you know what? The heaviest thing I dropped was this family's toxic expectations. The silence settles in, heavier than before. It's not shock, it's something else, real and thick. Mom's gone pale, fingers locked around her fork. Dad looks torn, eyes darting between her and me like he's seeing a whole new board. Sloane's mask slips, and for a second, her insecurity shows through the perfect front. Asher studies her, like he's finally seeing her honestly. I grab my fork and take a bite of chicken, suddenly starving. It tastes better than I remember. 5 days before the wedding, my phone buzzes for the 15th time that day. Mom's name lights up the screen, just another missed call in the stack. I silence it and leave my phone face down on the counter. Her latest text pops up, Ilara, please. This is about family unity. Sloane is devastated you're considering not being there. I shake my head, thinking back to that confrontation, how they looked when I walked in, changed inside and out. The way Sloane's eyes narrowed when Asher couldn't stop staring. Mom jumping straight to my hair color. The landline rings next, Dad's go-to when I ignore my cell. His voicemail lands a few minutes later. Hey kiddo. I know things got intense. But it's Sloane's wedding. Family is family, right? Call your mother. She's worried sick. Family is family. The excuse for 1,000 cuts. My laptop's open, and I see 3 new emails from relatives I barely know, Aunt Caroline, Uncle Robert, Cousin Jessica. All saying more or less the same thing. Think about what you're doing to your sister. Like I'm the one setting the impossible terms. I open Sloane's message, sent at 3 in the morning. If you're coming to my wedding, you will dye your hair back to brown. I've always been the blonde twin. Don't try to confuse people or steal attention. That old tightness creeps up in my chest. My instincts want me to apologize, give in, keep the peace. 25 pounds gone, but their expectations still feel heavy. My fingers hover over the keyboard, trying to come up with something polite. Maybe I could just dye my hair back for a day. Maybe I could smile through their thinly veiled digs, sidestep Sloane's jealousy, let Mom try to fix me one last time, for the sake of family peace. I glance at the photo sitting on my desk, me at Cathedral Rock, Sedona, arms thrown wide, red rocks blazing behind me. That was 18 months before I lost the weight, before the big blow-up. But honestly, you can see it in her eyes, she already knew freedom was right there. I grab my phone and call Maya. Everyone's blowing up my inbox. When she answers, I jump right in. The wedding's in 5 days, and now the whole extended family's involved. Mom says I'm tearing the family apart just by thinking about not showing up. Maya's voice is steady. And what do you think? I pause, staring at my reflection in the window, ash blonde hair, stubborn as ever. I think I'm having a weak moment. Old habits, you know? They're pulling me back. She doesn't let me off the hook. What would it mean if you went? That hits me hard. What would it mean? Not just putting up with another day of criticism. It would mean they win. That I'm still letting them control me with guilt. That change only counts if they approve. It would mean nothing's really changed at all. I whisper, it would mean nothing has. And if you don't go? I look at the Sedona photo again. It would mean everything has. After we hang up, I crack open my laptop and splurge on a luxury suite at Enchantment Resort in Sedona, $2, $700 for the weekend. The number flashes on the screen, and for a second, I waver. Over $2,000 to skip my sister's wedding. I hit confirm. Next, a blank email to Mom, Sloane, and Dad. I type, I will not be attending the wedding. This isn't about hair, weight, or any of the things you keep focusing on. It's about respect, yours for me and mine for myself. I wish Sloane and Asher all the best. I'll be taking the weekend for myself. Please don't contact me about this. My decision's final. Elara, no explanations, no back and forth. Just a line in the sand. I hit send before I can chicken out. My phone lights up instantly. I turn it off. 5 days later, I step out of my rental car at Enchantment Resort. Sedona sun glows on the red rocks, the air smells like juniper and possibility. At check-in, the receptionist greets me. Welcome, Miss Vance. Your hiking guide will meet you tomorrow at 7 for your Cathedral Rock sunrise tour, then Devil's Bridge in the afternoon. In my suite, I unpack. Fitted jeans I couldn't wear 4 months ago, light hiking tops, sturdy boots, nothing fancy, nothing meant to hide me. Just clothes that fit the person I'm becoming. That evening, I sit on the balcony, watching the landscape shift as the sun drops. Down the road, Sloane is probably laughing at her rehearsal dinner. Tomorrow she'll walk down the aisle. Sure, people will notice I'm not there. They'll whisper, ask questions. But for once, I'm not responsible for anyone else's discomfort. In the morning, Sedona wakes up crisp and clear. I hike Cathedral Rock with my guide, reaching the saddle just as the world turns gold. I hand my phone to another hiker, ask for a photo, arms wide, same pose as last year, but now I'm strong, standing taller, not smaller. Back at the resort, I post the photo to Instagram. Caption: Rediscovering joy in Sedona. That's it. No talk of weddings or family or diets. Just me. The likes and comments pile up. You look amazing. What a transformation. That view is gorgeous, but you outshine it. Wait, aren't you supposed to be at your sister's wedding? I ignore that last one. Instead, I post another photo. And another. Each one a little victory, joy without apology. All weekend, I hike, meditate, hit the spa, eat real food, no calorie counting, no guilt. Every hour, the weight of family expectation gets a little lighter. On Sloane's wedding day, I tell the front desk I'm off the grid. My phone goes in the safe. I spend the day out of reach, far from the ceremony, far from the questions about the missing sister. My absence says what words never could. Sunday morning, I get ready to check out. I pull my phone from the safe and turn it on. Notifications flood in: calls, texts, tags, everything. As I settle the bill, the first email pops up. Aunt Linda again, my mom's sister, always orbiting just outside the chaos. Subject line: what you missed. My finger hovers over delete. Do I really want to know? Should I care? I pause, then open it. Alara, you didn't come. It was a total disaster. Sloane was in a mood and picked a fight with Asher right at the reception. People kept asking, "Where's the bride's beautiful sister?" Your mom looked absolutely mortified. I sink further into the hot, mineral-rich water and, honestly, I just feel relief. No guilt, no regret, just this warm, solid sense I made the right call. The real win wasn't showing up, looking fabulous and watching their jaws drop. It was choosing myself without needing their applause. The Arizona sun sets Cathedral Rock on fire through the spa's enormous windows. I close my eyes and let the heat soak in. For once, I don't need validation from anybody wearing the Vance family name. A week later, I'm back in my Seattle apartment, standing at the same window where I first held Sloane's engagement invite. Same skyline, different woman staring out. The place feels changed, but it's not the furniture, it's me. My economics degree and those finance awards still line my shelf, but they aren't desperate proof of anything anymore. I'm just proud of them, simple as that. I run my fingers over my journal, flip to a clean page and write, "I didn't lose weight to be loved. I lost weight to escape the people who made me feel unlovable." The words come easy, almost surprising me. The heaviest thing I carried around wasn't fat, it was hope. That endless, exhausting hope that my family would turn into the people I needed. My phone buzzes. Maya again. "Celebration dinner tonight? 7 at Canlis?" I grin, texting back, "Absolutely. I'm buying." Walking away from a toxic family doesn't mean being alone. That's the biggest thing I've learned. My friend circle keeps growing, people who love my brain, my jokes, my actual self, not just how I look. That promotion at work? It didn't come from losing weight. It came from the confidence I found when I stopped measuring myself by someone else's standards. That night, Maya raises a glass across the candlelight. "To freedom," she says. "To boundaries," I reply, clinking. "And to telling toxic people to kiss your newly toned ass," she grins. We both crack up, and I realize how rarely I laughed at family events. How I used to shrink myself, physically, emotionally, verbally, you name it. Nia from accounting wants to talk, Maya mentions, picking at her salmon. She's got her own family stuff. Says you're the only one who'd get it. Of course, I say right away. Turning my pain into something helpful feels good. Not revenge, not bitterness, just honest advice from someone who's lived it. 2 days later, I'm sitting with Nia in the office courtyard. As she tells me about her mom's constant criticism, I hear my old life in her words. I don't tell her what to do. That's not the point. I just share what I've figured out, boundaries without bitterness, loving yourself even when others can't. That night, I settle onto my balcony with the city twinkling below. My journal's open, half a page filled with today's small wins. The silence feels peaceful, not lonely. My phone pings Instagram. "Distant cousin, you look amazing. What's your secret?" I smile, replying, learning that real health starts when you love yourself enough to walk away from people who don't. After a moment, I post my own before and after photos. Not just the weight loss though, sure, it shows, but the difference in my eyes, my posture, my smile. Underneath, I type, "The heaviest weight isn't on our bodies. It's the expectations of people who can't celebrate who we are." I tack on a question. If it were you, would you have gone to the wedding to prove them wrong? Or was leaving in silence the real power move? Let me know. Replies start pouring in, mostly from women with stories like mine. And suddenly, I don't feel so alone. This was never just about weight. It was about learning to choose myself. And in that choice, I finally found peace.